Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Aaron James, the channel that brings you all your latest Rangers news, guys. Out and about, still dedicated to bring you the latest news. So, a couple of bits of transfer news. One incoming, one outgoing. So, obviously, summer has already started off season now. It seems that now, obviously, there's a head coach in place. We know that, obviously, that transfer kitty will be ratified at some point at the EGM. So, anyway, this is the stories. So, the first story is an incoming. Dor Turman, an Israeli striker, I'll make the other side of the city happy, who was linked with the move to the club, if you remember, in January. Turman is currently with Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Israeli Super League. Was tipped to move to Europe actually during the January transfer window, however decided to stay with Maccabi in Israel, continue to play in the Israeli Super League. He is 22 years old. He is over 6 foot. He's fast. He's direct. He's a quick player. Has scored 15 goals in 32 appearances this season in the Israeli Premier League, Israeli Super League. I don't know what it's called. I've got to admit, I don't watch the Israeli Super League. I don't watch the Israeli Premier League. It's not one of the competitions I go to on a regular basis. However, this young lad is very highly rated, very highly thought of, has been long linked with a move to a European club. It's thought that Rangers are very keen to make Turman their first signing this summer. A striker as well. I think a lot of people have talked about the need to have a striker, to need to bring in a striker. The other question, of course, this does bring about is if he is obviously going to be signed for around 4 million. Who's going to be on the way out? Obviously, there's been talk of Cyril Dessers leaving, please God, to go to Ajax Athens. That would be a good move, obviously, to get him out at this stage, to get back some of the money that was paid for him, because let's face it, he's 31 years old, he's 31 years old. He isn't going to get any better. He's not going to develop any further. And, if we're obviously serious about obviously selling players at the top of their game to then obviously recoup monetary value, which is what the transfer trading model is. That's not Dessers hate, that's just pure fact. This would be the time to sell him. So this move for Dor Turman looks like it could well go ahead. Apparently Rangers and Maccabi are in talks. That is according to a number of sources from Israel and in this country as well, both talking about Turman already talking to Rangers about a contract. It's thought that Turman is now ready to move to Europe, wants a new start, wants a fresh challenge coming forward. So this, I think, will be a spot-on move. It'll be an excellent move. Good young fast striker. With an eye for goal. Again, someone who, I think, perfectly fits this player trading model that was mentioned again yesterday at the presser, has been mentioned over and over again. Even if you go right back to the start of last season when John Bennett spoke about the transfer trading model, I think it's one of the things that certainly attracted the 49ers enterprises and Andrew Kavanagh to Rangers was the setting up of this transfer trading model, this basically making the club self-sufficient. So, bringing in young players, developing them, selling them on, and then obviously, making a profit on them. Turman is thought to be someone who at 4 million would be excellent value. This is someone who, if he continues at the present rate of development, showing the developments that he's shown over the last, few seasons, that he would be worth a substantial amount more money in the future. Of course, he does kind of question what's the future for Hamza, or is it that Hamza may be off this summer? I don't know. There's still obviously interest from Premier League clubs in Hamza, but obviously very interesting times at Rangers with this link to Dor Turman. The other one, of course, that is the outgoing. Looks like Robin Proper will be sold back to Twente. Look, I think, no matter what you think about Proper, he hasn't settled in Scotland. He hasn't looked good in Scotland. He struggled with Scottish football. He's not up to the intensity, the physicality and the aggression. He does look like a rabbit caught in the headlights every time he plays in Scotland. I mean, to be fair to him, he has done well in Europe. He's looked all right in Europe, to be fair to him. Because European football's a bit easier, isn't it? You get more time on the ball. It's not as physical. It's not as aggressive as the Scottish game is. And I think Proper's really struggled with that step up. And, as I said at the time, I thought Proper was a little bit of a panic buy. Connor Goldson had gone. We tried to obviously get Jose Cordoba. Norwich had obviously got ahead of us for him. We then obviously tried to get Kike Fernandez from that Spanish team, whose name escapes me now. Couldn't get that deal done. It was a bit like we got down to last minute, thought, shit, we haven't got a centre-half. We need another centre-half. Let's go and get Robin Proper because he looks like a leader. He looks like a bit of value. I genuinely don't think he was a Coppin signing. I think he was more of a Clermont signing, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, he's going back. It's felt that we will make a loss on him. But look, at the end of the day, I think it's around about a £300,000 loss. We paid about £1.5 million for him. We're about to get about 1.2 million back for him. look, at the end of the day, sometimes you have to just cut your losses, admit you failed and get on with it. And I think proper going back to Twente is good for Rangers and it's good for the player as well. So guys, let me know what you think of these two transfer stories that are breaking this afternoon. Thanks for watching, guys. We are the people.